Natoka Gatondo nikasema niwasalimie hata kama iko mvua.
Ladies and gentlemen, on his way from Gatundu, Gachagua held a massive rally at the Githurai 45 roundabout.
Munasema ni one term. Ataenda one term. Sema one term. Wewe William Ruto. Wewe Kasongo. Wewe muuaji. Wewe mwizi. Wewe Kasongo. Harambee.
When you go to Kisumu, they talk about Kondele. When you go to Central Kenya, we talk about Githurai 45. That is a definitive center where when you have a rally, the people who come there really speak up, give a certain statement that is politically significant. So Rigathi Gachagua stopped over despite of the rain. Rigathi Gachagua still pulled the crowd, was able to charge it, and we could see that the people were really waiting for him at that point. Now, in this massive rally, the statement that was very clear was that William Ruto is in fear. This video here today, I'm going to dissect critically on that, on why I'm saying that William Ruto is in fear because of the rally that Rigathi Gachagua held from Githurai 45. But before I take you through, please, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukua Times, kindly take a second or two, subscribe. And also, after watching my video, please let me see in the comment section what you think. Before I proceed, let me give you 2 seconds to subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. May God bless you. Let me dive into the topic today.
Nyinyi ni watu wangu. Tumeumia pamoja. Huyu mtu alitudanganya. Ni muongo si muongo? Ni muongo si muongo? Aende asiende? Wangapi wanasema Kasongo aende, Kasongo aende, Kasongo aende, Kasongo. Sasa watu ya Githurai. Huyu mtu alikuja na Biblia. Alikuwa ni fisi. Amevaa ngozi ya kondoo. Akatudanganya. Akaharibu uchumi. Akasema atatuweka pesa kwa mfuko. Akatoa ile kidogo tulikuwa naye. Akaharibu mambo ya matibabu. Ameharibu mambo ya masomo. Ameua watoto wetu wa Gen Z.
What was this lesson number 1 that made William Ruto be in fear? Number 1 is this. Rigathi Gachagua is constantly charging the crowd or maybe the country against President William Ruto. He constantly holds journeys across the country, more especially Masai and Kikuyu that he had gone to, and even actual Ukambani. And he keeps on reminding people of some of the things that William Ruto has been doing that are not right. If you hear from his statements, he's reminding people of what William Ruto did. Number 1, the killing of the Gen Zs in this country. If there's one reason that Mount Kenya is going to vote against President William Ruto, it is the death that occurred on 25th June 2024 and slightly back, where we had Rex Masai being killed. These kind of sentiments, these kind of activities that occurred last year are reminding people constantly of the brutal heart of President William Ruto. Why he does not care whether people are killed or not. That is a clear statement. And when Rigathi Gachagua keeps on reminding the people, especially of Central Kenya, they get pained a lot. They get pained. Apart from the Central Kenya people, the entire country keeps on remembering President William Ruto as a dangerous president based on what happened on 25th June 2024. Literally, Ruto had a choice to cancel the voting of the finance bill 2024, but he left until people died for him to cancel. What was this important from the death of the Gen Zs in this country? That was a clear thing that William Ruto really did not care as much. So the fact is, Rigathi Gachagua is constantly reminding the people and charging them against President William Ruto immensely. Another thing that is reminding the people is that they need to consolidate their Mount Kenya votes. The Mount Kenya votes are going to really play a significant role come 2027. And the moment Rigathi Gachagua holds such kind of rallies, people constantly remember, okay, by the way, we have a role to take President William Ruto home. We bestowed him the leadership. We need to also match him to Usugoi or maybe to Kilgoris. So we have to constantly work to take President William Ruto home. Therefore, let us keep on registering. Let us have it in mind, and we need to mobilize ourselves. This kind of a spirit that Rigathi Gachagua is creating, William Ruto and any other politician like Raila Amolo Odinga know very well that if those people come out to vote, the spirit they have does not exist in anywhere in this country. And Rigathi Gachagua is talking of 3 million votes. Actually, I mean 8 million votes, sorry. Those 8 million votes, if they are achieved, then William Ruto is going to have a sleepless night in State House. It's therefore very clear that Rigathi Gachagua is minding the people of Mount Kenya that they need to mobilize themselves, they need to register as voters, and they have a war to fight in the ballot come 2027, which is taking William Ruto in shivers. Another thing is this. William Ruto is also tensed because Kindiki is seriously getting a disadvantaged. Following the court case where Rigathi Gachagua was found to be right, and that the court was, and it was unconstitutional to use Philomena Mwilu to constitute a judge bench that was to determine Rigathi Gachagua's case. It shows that Rigathi Gachagua probably is still the deputy president, because we all remember after that case, Rigathi Gachagua vacated the residency, the official residence of the deputy president. So that case itself, if it was unconstitutional, and then with these rallies that we are having, Rigathi Gachagua is constantly disadvantaging Githurai Kindiki in the mountain region. We have to remember that Rigathi Gachagua, after his removal, Githurai Kindiki came as a replacement, not just on the seat, but also the local politics, to get the mountain back to William Ruto. But with these kind of journeys, constant rallies, then Githurai Kindiki is constantly disadvantaged and reminded that he's supposed to go home and is unconstitutional in office, and Rigathi Gachagua is above him. Rigathi Gachagua keeps reminding people that he is what you call Mr. Yes Sir, someone actually an employee of William Ruto and not an employee of the people of Kenya. I don't know what's your take, but still let me see on the comment section on that. Another thing that is making William Ruto to tense seriously is the fact that Rigathi Gachagua is reminding the people of Kenya of what William Ruto has done. Let's talk of the payslip. Let's talk of the killings. Let's talk of the ignorance. Let's talk of the borrowings. Let's talk of the embezzlement of public funds, the corruption things. When he does this constantly, he's reminding the middle class that your job is yet to be done. Fighting William Ruto at the ballot. He's reminding the youths, your job is not done. Your people were killed. Let's go and vote. Rigathi Gachagua is also telling the youths, make sure that you've gotten the IDs. That one is reminding them, remember the Ruto we had in 24th June 2024, 25th June 2024 is the same one we are going to have in 2027. So let us keep fighting on that. So in a nutshell, the constant reminding of the people of wrongdoings of President William Ruto are really taking William Ruto in shivers. William Ruto is getting tensed now and then. Also, Rigathi Gachagua is constantly thwarting the efforts of President William Ruto to get the mountain back, to get the people of Kenya support him. He's going to Maasai Land today. He talks of helping people on one or two things. Then when they look on social media and mainstream medias, you realize that Rigathi Gachagua is completely destroying President William Ruto. Even what good he did, the good thing that he did, people forget easily because of what Rigathi Gachagua said. So apart from that, you realize that as William Ruto is supporting the members of parliament from Central Kenya who are supporting him, Rigathi Gachagua is constantly reminding the people of Central Kenya that these are traitors. So he's completely thwarting his efforts to go to the mountain region and get the votes again and again. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, this thwarting of efforts is giving William Ruto sleepless nights. It's making it tiresome for him to handle Rigathi Gachagua. And as a result, we realize that Rigathi Gachagua is making William Ruto to shiver immensely. Another thing, it's a constant reminder that Rigathi Gachagua is creating a base for presidency. If he's able to get the 80 million votes from the Mount Kenya region, and then these other politicians decide to feel bad that Rigathi Gachagua has gone for presidency, maybe Kalonzo Musyoka feels like, no, I cannot be second to Rigathi Gachagua. Then he decides to quit. Matiang'i also says no. Then he decides to quit. Other leaders say no. Rigathi Gachagua will calculate and get a very good deputy president, and then get the Mount Kenya votes. After the Mount Kenya votes, Rigathi Gachagua will go with the ballot. With 80 million Mount Kenya votes, with some few from the rest of the country, tell me how Rigathi Gachagua might not become the president of this country. Because we can hear the language of President William Ruto and his men. They are constantly attacking Mount Kenya. They're making it like it's all about... They're even saying Ruto must go thing came from Mount Kenya. Yet it started from Raila Odinga. with his demonstrations at first. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's very clear that Rigathi Gachagua is reminding the people of Kenya and William Ruto immensely that he's a presidential candidate. And if he's a presidential candidate, William Ruto will be worried because he's planning to divide Mount Kenya and at least reduce the votes of Mount Kenya. But if Mount Kenya are going to have Rigathi Gachagua at the hip, that means very well that Rigathi Gachagua is going to take the entire votes. So that means William Ruto is going to divide Mount Kenya. And as a result, Gachagua is heading to State House and William Ruto is heading home. I don't know what's your take. Let me see in the comment section what you think about Rigathi Gachagua's journey.